We got the other one. We got the beer out of it. Yeah, you feel me? Fresh start, baby.
Hey, what's up, family? I was just talking so much real shit, man. It pisses me off. I don't know what happened to our live stream, man. We got shut down, y'all.
Yeah.
So before we start, I always got to say happy coronavirus, happy quarantine. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to make the best out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? But we got shut down, y'all. They didn't want us to let us thrive, man. I was spitting some facts. We had some real shit going on, and I don't know. They said we got copywritten or something, but we wasn't playing no music or something. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who was offended by whatever we may have been saying, whatever you may have seen, I don't give a fuck. I don't even know why you on the channel if that's the case.
Oh my God.
Anyways, man. Salute to the fact that we still out here doing the best we can. I wish I could remember exactly what I was touching on. It probably come to me a little bit later. I remember one thing, though. It had to do with small businesses not being able to thrive. And that being one of the key underlying speaking notes, as well as the overall goal that's coming out. In my opinion, that Republican Senate, what they're focusing on, they're kind of destroying the small businesses in the wake of this coronavirus pandemic, even though it seems like they're doing everything they can to help. And even though they will preach to you that the small businesses, the working class is the backbone of the country, if you guys have heard about the payroll tax cuts that Donald Trump wants to imply, and that he wants to have so much, and that he prefers over actually giving people a second payment, this type of thing, it only is going to affect the richer. The self-employed and the richer, all right? It's not going to actually help the working class, which so many people think is so important. Hey, what's good with this, Strada? Man, I don't know if you seen the last stream, man, but we got shut down in this bit. So we back at it again. We trying it one more time. Focus when it comes to the second stimulus package getting passed, because it won't help anybody but big businesses, the rich, and most likely anyone who may be self-employed, depending on how good your business may be going. But the working class, it won't help to an extent. What you guys want to get passed is that emergency funding act for the people, I believe it's called. Where they're talking about giving out $2,000 a month for the next year. That's what you guys want right now. That actually has the most attention, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because we don't have any Republicans giving a fuck about it. So, you know, we out here. That's what y'all want most attention to be paid to. But as of now, you know, whole lot of talk, no action. Everything is slow. Economy is still slow. Supposedly where we're at today was the reopening of it. Seems the same. You can tell it?
I was wondering, there was a little bit more cars, like a little bit more traffic. But it didn't last long.
That's what I'm saying. We were being inside, people are out for the most part, but it seemed exactly the same, man. Most of the businesses were still closed. The businesses that were open prior to were open, but I didn't see too many new businesses that you would expect to open during the actual date of the opening up. We did hear word California is supposed to be opening up, which is news. They said they were going to extend it to the 15th. Seems like they're going to be cutting that a little short, or at least certain counties. It seems like majority of the states right now, they're all slowly opening up in certain areas. We are going to see what's going to happen. Because like I said, those leaked, that's what it was. God damn it. Maybe that's why that shit got took down, man. Because I was talking about those, the leaked information that came out. And the Trump administration is aware that as of now, it's predicted we're going to see up to 3,000 deaths a day from the coronavirus if we continue with reopening the country.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah. And
that's like I'm trying to get an equivalent. It's like that's like a high school basketball gym filled up
with dead bodies, man.
That's crazy.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how this reopening goes. How many businesses are gonna be willing to reopen despite there not being anything passed when it comes to liability. That's another reason why a lot of people feel like small businesses are getting ignored because the liability factor. Small businesses and the working class. A lot of working class, they need that extra money, right? Small businesses not only do they need the extra money, but to reopen without a scare of losing money, they need some type of bill passed in that same sitting, where it's basically saying that they won't be liable if someone catches some type of sickness or whatnot if they do go to their place of business, so they can't sue. Basically, that would so giving money to the people and passing something like that would definitely help the economy, especially with there being no vaccine, no cure. As of now, there's people that want to go out, but
couldn't you technically sue your place of business if you work somewhere?
If you're a worker as well, yeah. Usually, there's a lot of protests going on right now. It's like Amazon's catching a lot of flack right now. Amazon's probably one of the worst rep businesses as of now during this pandemic, because a lot of their workers are coming out about how they're just not being provided with the right proper equipment. They're still being forced to work even though it's an unsafe environment. And there's a lot of protests. You know what I'm saying? One of the VPs, I believe, he stepped down either today or yesterday because Jeff Bezos fired one of the whistleblowers of the company. So it was one of the high-ranking or mid-ranking guys in the company. They basically came out and talked about how bad the conditions were working for Amazon. And even though, you got one of the basically the wealthiest guy in the nation, he doesn't give a shit about his workers. So he got rid of him. You can't talk if you're talking the truth. So it's fucked up, man. Life is crazy.
Man, shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to y'all. Throw a like if y'all feel like it. If not, drop some in the chat section. What's your thoughts on the murder hornet now killing people in the U.S.? What do you mean by that? Murder hornet. I don't think I heard about that. We're trying to figure it out, man. And to be honest with you, I can understand this being a very, very, very dire time for someone who was definitely not prepared for this. Because,
Who was prepared?
What I mean by that is if you feel like your next check is guaranteed. If you were moving as if I don't give a fuck about nothing because I know that money gonna be there. Those are the people who weren't prepared. Because now they're in a position, you know what I'm saying? I want that. Like nigga, pass that next stimulus, man. Give us more money, goddamn.
We deserve it.
We deserve it. I'm like Canada, man. They did it. They getting $2,000 a month over in Canada right now.
And I'll say this.
They passed it quick too, man.
Every nigga out there that got a stimulus check, take that as reparations for slavery.
Nah, hell no, don't do that. I'm like, everybody got that shit.
That's the close we ever gonna get, boy.
Oh no, he being real. He said the killer bees that's coming from Asia. Nah, man, I ain't heard about that. That sounds scary to motherfucker.
I know. I don't like bees.
I don't like hornets, nigga.
I don't like nothing that
hornets
fly
and
that
shit, man. I ain't heard about that though. I'm gonna look that up real quick. All we at a time though, y'all. Y'all hear about, man, all this slander going on? Since you speaking of Asia, all this slander going on at China. You feel me?
What happened?
Released documents saying that China knew that human contact would actually be able to spread the virus easily, but they didn't release the information. Obviously, it coming out of Wuhan, you know what I'm saying? The lab originated there and it covered it up. They already had also talks. They had the vaccine. They wouldn't want to give it to anybody. These are coming out, man. These are coming out. A lot of people are actually in support of Trump when it comes to that because Trump is probably the only leader of a country that is actually going at China the way he is and speaking the way he is about China. No one else is. Trump's the only one trying to hold him accountable. If this is indeed true rumors, I'm not saying these are true rumors. I'm saying this is what's being speculated, that's what's being put out in the media. But by holding them accountable, either we talked about this before, doing the 1 trillion tariffs, or possibly telling them like, hey, we don't have to pay none of the debt back because you killed all these people. How, if that actually goes through, who knows? There's another report I was just looking on the site I usually go to for.
Pay out. We won't have to pay all that debt we have for them back.
Yeah, either $1 trillion tariffs, or hey, wipe away all the debt because you killed a lot of people.
They're gonna go with that, bro. That's an easy way out.
Why though? Why does China have to do anything? You know how powerful China is. You know where we get. Not only us, a lot of people think about U.S. just gets a lot of this shit from China. Everywhere gets this shit from China. China creates everything manufactured basically almost in every country. China is like, people want to say U.S. is the biggest, greatest economy. I'm like, China is, I don't know, man. I would say China easily is number one over the U.S. at least. Yeah, that's all right, I gotta look that up. This shit's so crazy as fuck.
Sound like niggas gonna have to be dug in everything.
I'm like, nigga, what time of life are we living in?
We got killer
like, damn, niggas gonna have to go out wearing a protective suit, nigga, and a helmet.
I'm about to tell my employer, like, yo, man, I'm about to have my gear right, boy. I need a jacket that's anti-bee. You feel me, boy? I need a hat that got a mask, just in case a bee come and try to fuck me up in my face. I need all that, man.
All right. Once again, Estrada is coming, man. That's why I appreciate you in the chat, Estrada, man.
I know you coming out with that. You coming out with that important information that nobody even got.
It's the second time. You gave us some new information on our last stream. This is another U.S. So, yeah, man, murder hornets with stings that can kill land in U.S. The world's largest hornet, a 2-inch killer dubbed the murder hornet with this huge yellow-orange face. It's a shockingly large hornet. It's a health hazard and, more importantly, a significant predator of honeybees. If you don't know, bees is the top of the ecosystem. Without bees, basically, everybody will die. We're already in a situation where our bees are being killed at a faster rate because certain like you think about pesticides harm bees. We always have these different type of sprays that people use to keep away wasps, hornets, keep away bugs inside the house. I have some. I don't know if you've ever seen it. That hurts bees as well. So there's just so many different things now. You know, weed killer kills bees. So we're not in a good. And there's some places. I remember I used to live in Cali where there was an overpopulation of bees, and they would actually spray something in the air to kill them. I remember sometimes I would go outside, there would be just a whole bunch of dead bees.
You would have a lot of
shit. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that? There's a lot of bees here, but there's not a lot of bees everywhere.
And then have the proper people to.
It's because a lot of people think too that's, especially if you're like, I was in an apartment complex at the time. If you're in an apartment complex and they're trying to keep the cure, whatever the fuck that shit is called for, you know, the flowers and the grass and everything cut, like they spray a lot of things and that shit kills the bees. But anyways. Got off topic. The hornets can sting through most beekeepers' suits, deliver nearly 7 times the amount of venom as a honeybee, and sting multiple times, adding that it ordered special reinforced suits from China. The hornet's life cycle begins in April when queens emerge from hibernation, feed on plants that have fruit, and look for underground dens to build their nests. Hornets are most destructive in late summer and fall. We're hitting summer, y'all. So if y'all is out here and y'all thinking y'all can fight off any hornet or hornets ain't shit, or you scared of the you laugh at the motherfucker who's scared of a hornet, shut the fuck up.
Hey, I just want to let you know.
Because if you get stung by that bitch, you might die. Go ahead.
I just want to let you know I was down 14 points. Time out by me. I just want to let you know that. 14 points, he was down. I just want to let you know that.
Hey, I respect it. Gary. But invasive giant hornets have been spotted in the U.S. for the first time. The same thing. Just when you thought 2020 could not get any worse, now we have giant hornets with freakish eyes and a venomous sting to add to this year. For the first time, Asian giant hornets have been spotted in the United States. So this is just concluding basically what Estrada said. How did they come to the U.S.? Scientists don't know how giant hornets native to Asia ended up in Washington. But they were first spotted in December. So we got new ones. So I'm gonna tell you guys this, the last thing I'm saying on the hornet. If you see one, they suggest Don't get too close. It's terrible advice. Like, what the fuck did you? What type of motherfucker getting close to a hornet? All right, y'all. So make sure y'all careful, man. We got killer hornets. We got the coronavirus. Man, 2020 ain't shit. You remember motherfuckers, 2020, clear vision. It's the year of the clear vision, 2020. I'm going to see everything. You know what we seeing clear? You know what? They was right. You know what we seeing clear? God damn it. We're seeing that in reality, the U.S. isn't as great as you thought it was. We ain't as powerful as we thought it was. We ain't as prepared as we thought it was. Nigga, we in the same boat as every other country. We finding out, nigga, hey, shit. Some of these countries that a lot of people would assume was beneath us, man, they handling this situation a lot better than we is.
The thing that makes America pop is just our entertainment and sports. Like, everybody knows Hollywood. Everybody knows LeBron.
That's it. Like, and supposedly the fact that we live in a capitalistic
democracy. Because
democracy.
if you think about it, bro, we have Western, European culture, right? Western European culture.
Yeah.
So we're basically a piece of them just over here, bro.
But I'll say more Western. Like, Western has developed their own culture where it's significantly different from Europe.
We have, but I'm saying, think about that though. It was by design though. I feel like, you know, like people say, oh, he was going to India. Bitch, fuck, you don't know where India at. You know what I'm saying? How is it so convenient that they stumbled on that piece of land? Well,
the only reason they stumbled because they didn't know shit. That shows how stupid they was, even though they try to portray it as something being intelligent. It was literally an accident. If you're gonna sell this way, you don't know the specific land there, and then you end up falling on that land. And you suppose you went all the way around the world. That shows how stupid. Like, if you really look at that story, they try to make it seem like it was such an aha moment. But I'm like, really, these motherfuckers is dumb as fuck. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, they wasn't the first people there. Like, that's already been proven and documented. It says it in the whole book. They found Native Americans there. So obviously they didn't discover it. Think about nobody even challenged that. Like,
I'm so mad that
the book is saying Columbus discovered this, but there was people there that doesn't even make sense.
And
how did he discover something when niggas was living there?
When I was in school and I heard about that shit, I always wanted. I remember I think I might have said something about it, but I feel like the teacher just negated what I said to make it seem like, oh, okay, like she gave me a reason to make it. You know, at that time when I'm young, I'm like, okay, that seems.
Easy, because you're gonna be easily persuaded. But you're in this position right now where, like, this is authority, so obviously what they say ain't no more. So you don't know that. But when you really think about that, I'm like, that's one of the dumbest stories. In the sense of
made a song about it, bro.
It's the dumbest story in the sense of what you were trying to make it out to be, like it's some type of heroic tale, or like, you know what I'm saying. But I'm like,
they came over here and made this great nation, George Washington.
Strauss said, "Damn it, if 2020 is going to be like this, I don't want to know what the hell 2020 going to bring us." See.
It's gonna bring us great fortune.
Yeah, man.
If they do this, if they let this world continue to live, we start
right. Because whether if the numbers are elevated, whether if we have fake news that are coming out, whether if some of the shit that they're saying isn't real, whatever it may be, this shit is happening not only here, globally. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a scale that you can measure. We handled it in comparison to everyone else, which is going to give you a more realistic look into your government. All these facades, all these false statements, how we have the number one economy, the U.S. dollar is so strong. No, make America great again. This is no shot. This isn't me, because y'all heard me say good things about Trump as well. But like, oh, we're this, we're that. How prepared are we for these situations when it comes to the people who aren't thought about? The U.S. is made up of the working class and the middle class. The lowest percentage is the rich. But yet, the ones who are making it out of this so, skate free is the rich, is the wealthy. They don't even feel this shit. And they're going to come out stronger after this. If you don't believe me, go take a look at some of those bills that was passed. The poor got that little funky 1,200, nigga.
Funky 1,200.
Nigga, go look at the rich guy, nigga.
Rich probably got millions.
Them small businesses couldn't even touch some of that money, nigga. The LA Lakers was taking the shit. Like, the fuck? There's a reason why Trump wants these payroll taxes to be in the next stimulus that is passed. Whether or not that means that's going to be the money that's what he's going to call our next stimulus pay, you better hope not. If you're someone who needs money, you don't want that to be the case.
What do you call it? What?
It's a payroll tax cut. It's basically it's cutting the tax on the payroll from employers. So that will entice employers to give a higher wage to their employees. And obviously that allow employers to spend more money because they won't have to worry about that tax that they're paying on the payroll. But for the most part, it'll benefit more so big businesses, self-employed people. Won't necessarily help small business out that much because what small businesses need is money.
Hey, man, got a question for you, dog.
Hey, what's your thoughts on Mike Tyson saying that he's coming out of retirement? I saw that too. It was only a matter of time, right? It's only a matter of time. Every one of these old motherfuckers that box always come out. They always want to fight again, nigga.
How old is Mike?
53.
53?
53, nigga.
That nigga old. You can sit down.
Smoking an unbeknownst, I don't even know if that's a real word, unbeknownst amount of weed, nigga.
Well, he be blowing gas heavy?
Nigga, that nigga.
The Snoop can smoke, bro.
I don't know. That nigga Dyson high as hell. Hey, man, if he fights another old nigga, I'm like, why not, man? I'm gonna be real with you.
Pavetikin? He'll whoop his ass.
No, not Pavetikin. Pavetikin will whoop his ass. True.
I don't know, man. I think Mike Tyson knocked that nigga out.
That nigga Mike Tyson ain't fought in how long? That nigga Pavetikin just had a fight. That nigga Pavetikin's about to fight Dillian White, nigga. A 32-year-old stud. Pavetikin is fucking Tyson up. Tyson needs to fight another nigga come out of retirement, nigga.
Nigga,
I don't know. I don't know who's coming out of retirement. I don't think them losers come out of retirement.
He should.
I wouldn't if I was. If I was him, nah. His career ain't great. You don't need to come out of retirement.
You right.
I see why Tyson want to come out of retirement. What? Niggas have a wrong perception of Tyson. That nigga Mike Tyson literally is Deontay Wilder. Even though I love Deontay Wilder, but nigga knocked out a whole lot of niggas you don't know. Bruh. Too old, man. It's not a good look, man. But I'm like, hey, yo, man, go ahead, fight to the old motherfucker. I'm good with that. Like that Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz shit. I watch that shit.
Rampage Jackson versus, was it Chael Sonnen?
Yeah, that shit, them niggas was old in that bitch.
Man, niggas was tired as fuck. He was like, man, these niggas is really fast in here, man. Didn't Rampage lose?
Yeah, that was like old niggas fighting like that, man. I don't know if we should be watching this, but I'm enjoying it. I don't know why, nigga. Like it's not high paced or nothing. It don't got you no adrenaline pumping, but there's something about it, man. I'm really watching this shit. It should be fucked up, man. Hey, happy coronavirus though to everybody, man. I hope y'all enjoying y'all coronavirus vacation. I'm just playing. That's fucked up.
What'd you say?
I said I hope everybody enjoying their coronavirus vacation. I know that shit fucking niggas up.
I know you was just talking about how it's fucking up.
Oh, man, it's not funny. Hey, Chinese state media labels Pompeo evil for suggesting virus leaked from Wuhan lab, but spares Trump for claiming Beijing made a horrible mistake as war wars between rivals heats up. Is China and U.S. potentially, are we at a brink of maybe war?
No.
Is there going to be an outbreak of war from this?
No.
Between China and U.S.?
No.
Zen says no.
You know why? Because if we go to war, the war will end.
China's supersonic stealth bomber that could hit the U.S. could be ready later this year. Let me read it. The feared Xi'an H-20, which doubles China's strike range and completes its nuclear triad, puts Australia, Japan, and Korea all within range. It could be rolled out this year amid escalating global tensions. If y'all don't know, y'all should know. Anybody who says China ain't shit, China is the shit. I want y'all to look up who owns the largest amounts of gold as a country right now.
China. And Africa.
Yes. And
What?
There's a reason why the U.S. is doing it. They don't want to print more money because they know that the dollar is going to collapse. And the dollar will collapse if they continue to print this money in the midst of this pandemic.
They're not getting it in return.
And got to give them nothing in return. That's
only
why.
Only way it diminishes if China does do that bill you were saying.
If China does that bill, it strengthens the dollar.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what they're hoping on. That's why a lot of this money that they're giving out, they're not printing any money behind. They're not printing any new money. They're just adding to the debt. They're adding to the debt.
Is because, like, even though they outnumber us, bro, they're not. Them losing that many people will hurt their working. In my opinion, they'll hurt them just as bad as us.
Well, it's gonna be equal.
Because I'm like, if you think about it,
when it comes to
we have alliances. It's not like it's gonna just be us, bro.
It's gonna be the same with China. China has alliances as well, but we have the strongest. We have one of the strongest military. That's one thing we do have. We may not. That's one thing that's real. We may not have the biggest economy. They talk that shit. The dollar may not be the strongest. You know what I'm saying? We may not have the greatest healthcare, even though we may make it seem that way. There's one thing we do have. We have one of the strongest militaries.
That's a flavor, right?
But if you're talking about another country that has the amount of money and access that China does, they can, and the fact that we're moving into a technological. Why can I say this?
Technological.
Hey, y'all, we fucking up. Technological.
It's technological.
There it is. Technological. Say it again.
Technological.
Technological world, which means that more things are going to be based on technology. More things are going to be computer based. China is someone to be scared of because they have all the money, they have all the technological advances, and they have the money when it comes to investing into that technology, or at least more money. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the world, money makes the world go around. And whoever got the most, nigga, they ahead of the game. And as of now, China got the most, so they ahead of the game. And they disciplined as fuck. That's another thing we don't talk about. There's a reason why their coronavirus cases are going down. It's because when they said do a lockdown, them motherfuckers did a lockdown.
Who?
China, nigga.
You saying niggas getting arrested, I be in lockdown too.
Okay, and that's why you see them cases going down. The U.S. do a lockdown, nigga, cases rising. Why? The U.S. don't listen to nobody, man.
Hey, man, it's the new Duncan Robin, but we gonna be better than them. I'm just letting you know that now.
World War III, that's exact. Hey, motherfuckers been a lot. Yeah, I heard you. A lot of conspiracy theorists have been predicting World War III for a long time. The only reason I'm saying is because back like 5 years ago, my political science teacher, he always talked about, he's like, World War III's coming. World War III's coming. He was a big conspiracy theorist dude. He said, just be ready for it. I'm like, man. He said, it's going to come. When World War III comes, that means we're getting closer to a new world order, a one world government, and a one world currency. Remember that. If World War III happens, new world order, one world government, one world currency. I still remember that to this day. And I remember that day he said, invest in gold. Buy gold, hold it. That shit still stands true to this day.
You know, I had a teacher, bro. Well, I only had one for like a day, bro. They're out of class, bro. And I had my advisor was like, you gotta go get a class to feel selected. I was like, all right, bet. So I was trying to get this one class because some of my teammates was in there. Bro, I'll tell you this, man, after about 40 minutes of lecture, bro, he bust out talking about, I have my own language. I have my own language system. He just started going in, bro. He really went up to 23, bro. That shit was crazy. He was like, yeah, man. Astrology. It was astrology. That's what it was. Astrology. The stars. I'm telling you, bro, it was crazy, bro, what he was saying, man. It was 3 hours, so much of information, bro, that was so useless, awkward. Oh, man. I don't know.
You don't know, though. You don't know if it was useless.
Well, I don't know, man. When he started saying his own language, man, I was like, what is this?
Might have been something powerful. That's what I learned. I never learned to question intelligence. Because a lot of times intelligence comes in a form that is ignorance to you. You should hear this, man. This is bullshit. Just because the shit sounds bullshit to you, maybe sometimes that's ignorance because you don't know. You ever think about that?
So if I make my own language and somebody don't know, that's ignorance on them?
Depending on what he was trying to get across with that own language. He told you yourself, I made my own language, and I'm going to tell you what it is. What he said? He said numbering system.
Yeah, but like
so it's based off of numerology.
Yeah.
Which is real. You can base a language off of numbers because numbers mean words. You should know this.
Maybe he was talking some real shit, but maybe I'm wrong.
And that was my point, people. Sometimes intelligence to people can be either ridiculousness or stupidness, whatever it may be, because we're just ignorant to the information. That's why it's always important to have an open mind. If you can feel the injury, that's why it's important also to have common sense and be able to perceive. You feel me? You gotta feel the energy. Like, is this a crazy motherfucker talking, or does this motherfucker, especially if you're talking about an elder, is he really talking about some shit I don't know nothing about? Because if you're quick to judge, you're quick to miss out on information that might possibly be vital to you later in life. But anyways, I want to get to what Estrada was saying right here. The reason why China has fewer death in cases right now is because everyone is already dead in China. I'm gonna address that as well. What makes you believe that? In China, despite Trump repeatedly saying there's no way that could be the case because the virus originated in China, I would argue, well, if we have leaked documents coming out that China also had information on how deadly the virus was, how to contain it, how it would initially affect the country or people, wouldn't you think people with the most information like that would be able to handle that situation the best? So it would be expected that they have fewer cases. I don't expect them to. I don't believe the facts either way. It's hard for me to believe that there's more deaths and cases in the U.S. just because the U.S. wasn't prepared for it. Also, other countries. It's hard for me to believe that they end up having the same amount of deaths and cases as other countries that weren't prepared for it, where there's information literally coming out showing us that China knew about this knew about this virus before everybody else knew how it would affect people, how they should go about handling it, what they need to put in place in order to contain it. While there's still we're still learning different things about it to this day. There's still new information coming out about it. China has all this information.
I know about the virus.
Yeah. So I'm like, so it doesn't surprise me that they have fewer.
So they must have a cure.
There's been reports coming out saying that they have the vaccine, but they're not gonna give it to nobody. That was one of the main reports that came out, saying that they have a vaccine to cure, or they know something that helps.
So why?
And once they finish it, they're not going to share it with anybody. They have no plans of doing that.
But I don't understand how that's not a red flag in people's eyes.
As in what case?
That either eager to go back to work.
Mm.
Or it's like, they have the cure, but they're not giving it out. So would you not think, like, for me, only reason I'm not necessarily OD concerned, I'm not necessarily touching people, like I'm just dropping their stuff and I'm dipping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I had to like go really see people,
touch people, or be in a place where there's like, they're not allowing anybody. They're not allowing for the phase 1 for anywhere. You can't have 10 or more people in a place. Man,
there don't be nobody where I'd be working up in there. Maybe just 2 people, 3 people, maybe.
They won't allow it. You're gonna get shut down. They'll come in, like they'll shut you down, and you know that because that's what happened with me and old boy. Like they'll shut your shit down. So. But for the people, like in this case, hearing that shit and wanting to go back to work and wanting not to go back there and hear the vaccine, the reason why it doesn't make them feel any safer is because if there's reports of China being the originator, having all this information, and basically it seemed like in a sense they don't give a fuck about nobody else but China. But I'm like, what do you expect?
No, like they've been a dictatorship.
Yeah, it's not even about that. I'm not saying the U.S. would do the same thing, but I'm like,
big ass shot, Luke.
You got to think the U.S. You got to think of countries as a person. I know it sounds crazy, but nigga, they got egos. We're the best. We do everything. We got this. If you ain't necessarily or think of the countries as like, yo, like China is me, you the U.S. Like, man, I kind of know you like that, but we don't really know you. I don't really know you like that. And you kind of cool, like you know what I'm saying? You kind of cool with South Korea. I don't really fuck with South Korea like that. Like, I gotta kind of check you because you kind of cool with the dude. You kind of cool with the people that I'm not really cool with, and true. So we just focusing on if this gets out in our country, we gotta handle it.
Right.
So you gotta look at it from that perspective as well. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting times, man. World War III would be crazy, man.
Factory jobs would be booming again.
It depends, man.
It would, because they have to make more. Because think about it, we're in war with China. China makes most of our stuff, so I'm like, we're gonna have to start self-manufacturing stuff if we're at war.
It all depends on who is self-manufacturing. We're in a state where certain companies are owned by one or two parent companies. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're talking about manufacturers. One of the biggest manufacturers, or at least retail sales or sales period in the U.S. is Amazon. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm kind of leading toward? I'm like, these companies are moving toward either they're giving these workers shitty conditions, because the same thing as China. I'm like, China, the reason why a lot of the shit is made over in China because it's cheaper. So I'm like, even though it is in the U.S., it's still going to be, the conditions aren't going to be upright or fair to what they're, what they're actually going through. Like the conditions they're going through, they're not going to be paid the right wages, or they're not going to be treated the proper way. So it's still going to be that aspect as well. Mm. You know what I'm saying? How many people is going to be willing to take those jobs?
So Amazon's saying they need more money? Is that what they're my old job?
That's a small business. Amazon, they're not even giving niggas out, man. They said, go get your own shit. And you thinking about this, these are warehouses. Like, you understand. So these are the companies, like the Nike factory out here got shut down. But I'm like, Amazon, you got to keep going. These meat factories, you got to keep Amazon, you got to keep going. Meat factories got to keep going. There's literally like 100 people in the room standing next to each other. You feel me?
Unless you're getting tested every other week.
I'm like, there's words of Costco now talking about they're going to start limiting how much meat you buy. Certain stores are going to start limiting how much meat you buy in certain areas because the meat factories, some of them have to be shut down because how many COVID cases, people not being able to come into work, going on strike as well there because they feel like they're not properly being treated, because they feel like their life is at risk. Like, man, this shit is crazy, man.
I swear, man. It's
we in a pandemic. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just saying it. I really be thinking about day by day, like how I go on weekends. So when I be really, we get these talks on Mondays and shit, I just be like, man, especially when I'm sorry, dude.
That was an easy layup, goddamn.
Like, that threw me off. Like, he really missed the whole. Whoa! But I just really be thinking, every time I go to that gas station, that's when I really see it. Man.
It's real.
Shit, real, that's that. Today, when I was telling you that story earlier, and I know you was looking at me like, bro, that doesn't surprise me. I wasn't really trying to tell you to surprise you. I was just thinking like, I never seen that on the Monday.
Oh man, niggas is lit out here because you gotta think about all these single moms, man. They got the kids. They used to having their kids, you know what I'm saying, for a certain amount of hours because they had school and things like that. They had a routine and shit like that. So now they dealing with their kids the whole entire day. You can't get a nanny. You can't get a babysitter. That's against social distancing rules and shit like that. So you gotta handle that shit.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh, I don't know.
You're not supposed to be having other people. If you on lockdown, you're not supposed to be having other people playing your crib or visitors, nothing like that.
People are stupid. They just want to believe in what they want to believe. They don't want to believe in the truth.
Unfortunately, that's life, though. And also, at the same time, as stupid as you want to call some people, you also can't blame all the people because now that we have so much different sources of media, it's hard to find the truth. You have so many different perspectives of, like, you'll have 6 different motherfuckers tell. Now the journalism is corrupt and nobody has journalistic values or morals, so they put their opinion in the article. So they're reporting the facts, but then they're also putting their opinion in it to persuade you to believe the way they feel. So depending on what article you're reading, what website you're reading, what you're getting it from, most likely your opinion or how you feel about the situation is going to be in line with whatever you're reading. Not because you want to, but it's just, I'm like, you can't stop it. Like there's a reason why you picked the article. Like you picked this article because it interests you. Once you start reading it, you continue to read it because you're like, I like really what I'm reading.
Yeah, or whatever you was reading into.
Usually it goes on with your, whatever you were thinking about the situation or whatever you already having going, it's kind of going along with that or feeding into that narrative. So already you have a biased opinion on whatever may be going on because we have such corrupt. So that's why a lot of times you do hear Trump talking about fake news and things like that because he's not outright saying everything the news is reporting is fake, but he understands that now when it comes to journalism, it's opinion based. It's all about it's entertainment, nigga. It's another source of Hollywood. It's no different than a nigga trying to get a role on the Green Lantern, my nigga. That's what the news is. Like, don't get it twisted.
What? He said a role on Green Lantern.
It's the same shit, man.
That's a show?
It was a movie, Green Lantern.
Talking about a show I ain't want to watch. That's so dumb, bro. I really lost to the Clippers, bro. I literally just let this game get ahead of me. I went to overtime for what? For what? To lose?
And I didn't realize we've been going 44 minutes for this stream, so shout out to that. Also, man.
Yeah, it's over, bro.
They thought we was talking shit or something, man. We wasn't even talking no shit. Like, damn, we don't got a lot of viewers in here. No. And you shut our shit down. So that tells you, man.
They watch,
man.
Even when you don't think.
All the time. We're in some crazy times right now, though. I've been thinking about, man, you know what's crazy? I've been seeing a lot of videos, but I'm sure it's out there because I never searched it, but they be giving a lot of stimulus updates and things like that. But no one really talks about unemployment, and I'll be wondering how many people know how to access the unemployment and do the right things and put in the right things so they can get the unemployment. Because I know a lot of people, we only got 2 people up in here watching, but if any of you other 2 have been any type of change in your work, any type of change, it doesn't mean fired, you can't work, anything.
Damn.
Any type of the smallest change, you will qualify for unemployment. You will qualify for that. It's called the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. Even if, excuse me, sorry about that. Even if you literally worked a week in 2019 and during that week, you know what I'm saying, you weren't able to work during the COVID, you can file for unemployment, whatever state you're in, put it in. Initially, you might get denied for the initial, just the regular unemployment benefits. That's actually not a bad thing because you'll end up getting approved for the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. The lowest you'll get out of that would be $120 a week or $240 for 2 weeks. And that would be if literally you didn't make, like you never got your first paycheck, but you just worked for a week, right? If you got a paycheck, they're going to take a percentage of whatever the paycheck was. So you probably get a boost on whatever that pay is for a week. And then you're supposed to get an extra $600 a week with that. So any of you who have any type of change in your job status that had to do with COVID, make sure you guys get the unemployment because that's going to last all the way until July 31st. So make sure you guys utilize that because you'll be able to get whatever you get at a minimum of $120 a week with that extra $600. Now, it's going to be a long process. It's going to be frustrating. It may take a very long time for you to get it, but as long as you put it in, you're filing your weekly claim, they owe you that money. Even if you end up going back to work or if you end up getting the regular amount of hours of work or everything isn't going back to normal, you'll still get that shit. So make sure y'all go get that money.
Wrap it up for that. Good information right there, man. Trying to get y'all paid out here, man. You trying to get y'all what y'all owe.
Go get that shit, because y'all owe that shit because ain't nobody asked for this goddamn pandemic. China gave this shit to us, man. That's what they're saying right now. I don't want to sound like a racist or like a disrespectful motherfucker. That's what they're saying. So I'm not even going to put that out there. Let's go. Well, I'm not even going to say that because it's going to sound like I'm an African. But when Ebola came out, they was getting on Africa like crazy. I ain't even from Africa.
Let's go, boy. You see that air room, baby? That's what we need. Play that replay, Billy. Look at this, right? Look at this.
Go get that money, though, motherfuckers.
Look at that right there, boy. Oh,
motherfuckers.
Look at that. And on my baby, little boy.
So this is hard times for a lot of people. I'm going to talk to you guys also about the next stimulus package that they want to be approved. I was talking about that a little bit in the video that got put down. As of now, there's a lot of people talking about it, but you know what I'm saying? I know the people who watch us, we're more sports related, so I don't know what you guys' YouTube subscribers look like or YouTube feeds. They ended up beating the Clippers, by the way. You heard him about 2 minutes ago saying they were going to lose the Clippers. They ended up winning, so shout out to him. He didn't believe.
Down.
Y'all saw right now, first and forehand, he didn't believe in his team. And if this was somebody, if this was my coach or something like that, I'd be disappointed because he didn't believe in his team. So they got lucky. In the long run,
I didn't think we had enough time.
In the long run, that's going to bite them in the ass because that shows him how much he believes in his talent. He doesn't believe in him. So y'all just keep working. Shout out to y'all. But
nah, man, he's trying to disrespect. That wasn't even nothing like that.
The emergency
I didn't have enough time.
Act for the people.
Don't let him spew that out there.
That
don't let him spew that negativity.
Is what the people want to be passed. As of now, it does have the most recognition. More than, remember I was talking to you about the rent and mortgage cancellation fee? Mm-hmm. That's probably not going to get done. People aren't really in support of that. People aren't really in support of the debit card where you get $2,000 on it initially, and then you get $1,000 a month all the way up to a year after the COVID pandemic ends. That's not really popular right now either. And as of now, too, the act that actually I was in support of at the initial hearing of it, getting educated more on it, hearing a little bit more on it. And also me and Zen talked about it a little bit. And when you think about it, it actually isn't a good thing. It was that initial act, I think it was the Patriot Act, that the first Republican put out there to help people when it comes to money. Basically, you get that, remember that extra $12 an hour. So what you're already making. But the business owner, they would cover the $3, and then also the rest of the money would be covered by the government. But obviously, remember, you had to work at least 100 hours in that month or something like that. And then we started talking about, we were like, well, what if the employer just says, hey, none of you guys are working? We're gonna make sure we give you enough hours where you're not gonna equal 100 hours in that period, my nigga. So I was like, nah. I was like, nah, you can't.
Hiring people that's like 3 hours. We just banging them in.
Because think about this: if you're forcing us, because that's another question too. Are you forcing the business to give us $3 extra, or is it their choice? I saw a great comment on that where they said that doesn't make any sense. When the inflation went up, we didn't get a 3% raise on our paychecks. So why would they just give us a $3 hour rate? Like, unless you're compensating these, especially these small businesses, for that extra money they're paying out, which is why also, as much as I was bashing it earlier, this is why Trump wants the payroll cut, the payroll taxes cut, because it will allow employers to want to give more money to their employees because they're paying less money when it comes to the payroll, so they can give that money. It's another question in hand when it comes to even the loan getting taken out. Are they going to use that money that they're saving from not paying that taxes for their employers? Or are they going to use it to pocket it?
Same way that you know, like the meat factory jobs bet, you know, because that's what niggas eat.
But even then, I'm like, those employers are going to think the same way. A lot of those employers for the meat factory, man, they're hiring illegal immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they can pay them less. They know that they won't mind the conditions that they're working in. They know they won't complain. They won't go to someone and say, man, these conditions are disgusting. We can't work. You're right. They'll take the money, they'll feed their family. I saw a great comment too where it said, man, the U.S., the government knows the big businesses are about money. The small businesses, they'll care a little bit more about their employers because it's going to be more of a family because they have no choice. They're not going to have as many employees. So even if they don't want to treat their employees better, unless you don't want to have to face that conflict face to face, you're going to do it. Where if you're in a big business, you're not going to see the nigga with all the money address a little peon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, we talking about a lot of shit, man.
Man, what's good with the last one, man? I ain't heard from you in a minute, man.
Hope you all good, man.
Yeah, we good, man. We out here. We doing the best. You see, coronavirus, we safed up, man. We just talking about the coronavirus out here, how it's affecting us in the States, man. Last one, real quick. If you are in here a little bit, if I remember correctly, are you from the UK? Last one, or are you from the US? Because I would be interested if you're from the UK, how y'all dealing with the pandemic, man.
Hey man, y'all in there and drop a like, man. That didn't hurt, man. Just a little click right over there. If you got on your phone, it's just a da-da-da-da. You know?
Just a little, just like a thumbs up, like that. Yeah, last one in the UK. I know I remembered that shit correctly. So how the pandemic treating you, man? We over in the US. We over. I don't mind telling y'all the state. We in Tennessee. We figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? It's real.
Tell y'all the state.
It's man, this is some interesting times, man. Like I got an old daddy. He got an old daddy. My daddy, he ain't never experienced nothing like this. So
my daddy said the same.
I'm like,
this never happened.
Yeah, like when old niggas is telling you they ain't never like this is new shit. I'm like, all right, man. Everybody on a learning curve right now.
Facts. Nobody's been through this, none.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Whenever we go later, I always feel like Lost Ones is coming in the chat.
But think about it, UK, 10 hours ahead of us.
That's what made me think about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, where we at right now? Supposedly, we were supposed to be opening back up today. But as of now, there is more people out to an extent. But, I didn't really see much of a change when it comes to certain businesses being back open. For the most part, the same businesses that was open during the lockdown are still open during the reopening. And the ones that weren't opening during lockdown are still closed. I was at the gas station, goddamn it. This is where we at. I was at the gas station. I had a nigga roll up on me, knock on my window. I'm like, what's up, bro? He like, this is the first thing this nigga asked me. You smoke weed? I was like, nah, bro. And he was like, all right, bro, take my business card. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you do? He was like, I cut hair.
Why does that matter if you smoke weed?
That's what threw me off. I'm like, nigga, why was that your first question if you cut hair, nigga? But he was like,
trying to sell you.
Yeah, but he was like, he probably do both. So he was trying to see which one he can get a sale with. So he was like, I cut hair. I was like, okay. I was like, well, you used to work somewhere? He was like, yeah, man, I used to work at a barber, but we got shut down. But because it shut down, our shit got closed off forever. Like we couldn't keep it up. So I'm just kind of trying to supply and tell.
So you say it got closed off forever?
Yeah, well, where he worked at, the business. It wasn't his business, but where he worked out. Like because during the pandemic they couldn't work, and I guess over they wasn't able to pay the bills, so they had to shut it down. So he was like, he's like, I'm a traveling barber. So he's like, I'll cut your hair, bro. He's like, give my information. So I gave him my number. Now I'm not gonna allow him to cut my hair because unfortunately I saw Corey Holcomb 5150 episode, and that nigga was like, yeah, my hair ain't cut right now. And D was like, why? Like, you got money? Like, why don't you have a barber come to your house? He was like, hell nah, D. There's a reason why them barbers be coming to their houses, nigga. He's like, they don't just be coming there to cut hair. They got a whole different agenda. He's like, there's a reason why them niggas trying to come to your crib. There's a reason why that nigga say, yeah, come to my crib. I don't do that shit.
That was the latest one?
Nah, that was probably from 3 weeks ago or some shit. I was like, damn, I could never have a nigga come out here. A nigga come to the crib and cut it. Them niggas on some funny shit. But you know how that nigga be. Bye, what?
I know. I think he be on. I think he just probably be on. I'm like, I see NBA players always having some, or fighters be having the barbers.
That's what Corey, Corey. Oh, wait, hold on. Last one said it's quiet here. Even the people, I pay my rent to working from home. People walking into other people's houses to avoid other people on the street. He just shot weed. A lot of dealers out here front as delivery drivers. Okay. So it's quiet. So a lot of y'all ain't really tripping.
Okay.
So a lot of y'all ain't really tripping off the coronavirus. There isn't really. Do you feel like there is a fear in the streets? Is there a lot of people wearing the mask? You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like people feel like there's a sense of not knowing, feel like they're unprepared? Let me say that. Is there a sense of being unprepared where you at? Because me personally, I feel like where we at right now, I feel like there's a sense of not knowing. Like when I go out, when I see the people, when I see people moving, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like people are in a state of they're just going with the motions, but at the same time, I feel like people are aware. Yeah, this shit is different. Like there's just a different energy in the air. Like everyone's like they making the best out of what they got, but at the same they tiptoe. They're like, okay, what the fuck going on?
Like, is this shit real? Yeah, can I kind of really be where I want to do?
Because I feel like a lot of people want to be like it's not real, but the fact that it's affecting everybody and niggas is locked in their house, it's hard to just be like this shit is fake.
People dying.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
People dying. If people wasn't really dying at the rate it was, damn.
It'll probably be different. Niggas can talk more shit. But the fact that the deaths are continuing and they're rising, you can't talk that much shit and not look like an asshole. Last one said, I've seen a lot of masks. Maybe it's just me. I don't really think it's as big as everyone is saying. Look, last one. Look, it's just people panicking and panicking others. Not only that, lost ones, but it's the media. Real quick, though, but you have to think about this, too. This is what I want to put in perspective, too, because even though, like, because me and Zen kind of was on the same thing, too. Like, in the situation where we live at, the way people was operating, the way people was moving, you wouldn't believe this to be as big of a deal as you see it in the media.
Yeah.
As you see Trump coming out every day talking about this shit for us, for our U.S. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how it's going in the U.K. if you got the people over you out there doing press conference. But here in the U.S., our president, he's coming out basically every other day, and he's talking about everything that's going on. So when you see that in the media, when you see your president making such a big deal out of it, when you see the numbers, you believe it to be something it should be feared. But when you actually look at the everyday people and how people are moving, other than the mask and people wearing gloves, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, people are anxious for everything to be what it was, or it's the normal.
Yeah.
But even in that aspect, I can't downplay it simply for the fact that last one, you from the UK, and some of the shit that you're explaining is literally the same exact shit you explaining over here where we at in the US. Especially where we at right now.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a total different environment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we out here in the slums particularly. So
in the chat.
It's like, for us to be in such a different area, but niggas to be, people to be experiencing the same thing, that's astounding to me. That's crazy. That's what blows my mind. We over here, you know what I'm saying, where we at, and we got lots of one over in the UK, you know what I'm saying? We over here in Tennessee, over in the UK, and we essentially talking about somewhat of the same shit going on, but we got two different body and governments, two different time zones, two different environments. Like that's mind blowing to me, man. That's like when the internet was great. That's when YouTube got popular. That's how mind blowing this shit is.
YouTube.
Last one said our prime minister, who was like our president, actually caught corona. Looks like he was made. He looks like he was made in the lab. By the way, I know who you guys are you're talking about. Boris Johnson. Am I saying his name correctly? I've seen that. He was actually put into was it the ICU or urgent care or something like that for a minute, but he's recovering well now. He's doing good. Everything's all right with him. Yeah, and by the way, yeah, he's weird looking. He actually looks like Trump to me in a sense. He looks like Trump's like little brother.
He said Trump.
He does, man. He's a very interesting looking man. Last one, are y'all reopening? Media sites that I get my news from is from the UK because I like to see different perspectives because I don't always believe in the US media because I think it's biased. So at the very least, if I look at a different country's media based out of what's going on in the US, it might be somewhat unbiased, even though that's kind of like, I'm kind of like, that doesn't make sense in a way.
Yeah,
but
it does, because it's like, you don't feel like, I wish you would have told me, I wish you would have told me some shit. It's recent, because I'm like, man, you could tell me that when I was in school, boy. I remember my teacher used to always make me go, every time we get in class, it's like, did you reach news? I remember this one, I wasn't in school. This one, you know, I'm all my own. I know.
This is when I literally learned that everything you learn in school is like playing 2K. Playing 2K my career. You can't pick all the base builds, all the attributes. You can't pick all of them. You can't be a defender, a scorer, a post shooter. You can't be all of them in one, right? You got to choose one. That's what you know, and that's what you're good at. That's cool. So there's a lot of information you don't know, and there's a lot of information you may know, and that's why I also attribute geniuses into intelligence too. You can be a nigga can be an intelligent at fixing a car, but he can be dumb at fixing a computer. You see me? That doesn't mean the nigga fixing the computer is smarter than the nigga who can fix a car. The nigga who fixing the computer don't know how to fix a car. You feel me? That's how I see it. But anyways. Last one said, not for a few weeks. UK is very cautious. We will probably free up when we see everyone else okay. So you see that? Can I ask you this last one? Have you been paying attention to anything that's been going on to the US, to how we've been doing our, how we've been treating this pandemic? Because we were on this one. Did you have any, was there any penalties if you guys didn't obey the lockdown out there? Because out here, there wasn't necessarily any penalties. It was more so threats. As of now, we have protesters in major cities combating the lockdown extensions. California, Michigan, for example. California actually caved into these protests. They're reopening in a week.
You know why though? I don't think they.
Because they soft. God damn it.
Hey, I don't think they caved in. If you want my honest opinion.
What do you think then?
They was gonna do that shit the whole time.
But they had to extend it at least until May 15th. Orange County had their beaches shut off. People were going to the beaches in protest like, fuck this, man.
I'm just saying that
the U.S. is so spoiled. They're like, nigga, you can't tell us what to do for a month.
I'm just saying, I think that was going to push it up anyway.
No, I believe that. I understand where you're coming from.
I'm just saying, like, if you're thinking about it, come on, bro. They know that. They know people are going to, like, bro, protests are all predicted.
Check this out. Last one said, we heard of fines and stuff, but people just walk around fine. If they want to, much they can do. So they essentially have the same kind of shit in place the same way the U.S. did. But you know what that tells me? The U.S. is a bunch of spoiled ass kids.
Of course. Because
how was but at the same time, if you look at the numbers, the UK and the U.S., they have the most, of all the countries, they have the most cases and they have the most deaths.
Who?
The U.S. and the UK. The U.S. is number one in the most cases and deaths, and then the UK is right below.
But can you blame the U.S. for being lazy, bro?
I don't blame the U.S. for being lazy. I blame the U.S. for being who we are. Like, we're the land of the free. So we're not known for telling motherfuckers that they're not used to that. And that's why you see most of the protesters in this country. This is me. I'm not making this a race thing or nothing like this. This is real. Look at the pictures. Most of the protesters that are protesting right now in the U.S., they are not of a minority, okay? Because they're not used to being told what to do and having to abide by those rules. And if they don't abide by those rules, there's going to be a consequence to that. And there's not even a major consequence, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? You see reports and news sources here and there saying like someone got fined, someone got put in jail. But for the most part, people are kind of like, even the people who are defying these rules and going about how they may please, there's not much being put into it. Like even me, I was working with someone where the police came and said they had to shut it down. But I'm like, even to that extent, we could have found ways around that if we really wanted to. So it's all in how you look at it. Last one. I heard in America, some states are locked down, others aren't. Sorry to say, but I think it's stupid. I've got an 80-year-old grandfather in New York. It's like the most dangerous place. They open up some states. They might as well open up the whole thing. So I hear your perspective, last one, because if I remember correctly, and I do because we can look up at the scroll, you did say you kind of, in your sense, for the coronavirus thing, you kind of see it as, you know, it's not as serious as they're making it out to be. You got to look at it. The reason why these bigger states in the U.S. are being locked down is because there's a lot of traffic. Like where we're at, it's a big state, but it's easy to keep social distancing the way it's constructed. It's hard to tell you, but there's a lot of open land, trees, forests, you can go fish. Like it's beautiful. When you're in New York or you're in Cali, you have a whole lot of people in tight spaces. And supposedly that's the easiest way to pass the coronavirus. So in New York, the reason why
that sound like that's not like for every virus. During the flu.
That's a great point.
Like if it's a flu, if I'm sick, if somebody was sick in your class, right?
They don't want you there. That's why you're allowed to not go to class when you're sick, because they don't want it to spread.
I know one time
you can take a sick day in work, class, whatever it may be, because they don't want that to spread. Even though it's not deadly enough to kill someone, no one just wants to have to be decommissioned for a week or two or have to go through that bullshit. It sucks being sick. That's a great point, actually. So it's like, even if you don't believe it to be as major as it is, it's still killing people. Like, those numbers aren't fake. I'm not saying the exact numbers are real, but there are people dying. Right? So since it is that serious, and really the biggest thing is, don't even think about the deaths or the number of deaths. Just think about the fact we don't have a vaccine. We don't have a cure. We don't have any type of medicine we can take in order to, we don't.
You might want to retract that.
We don't.
We have cure.
We don't.
They don't want it to the public.
They say they have a vaccine, but even then, if they do have a vaccine, China would already have that released.
No,
they're not using it. Yeah, they would. They would be using it on the low. There's no vaccine out right now. They have an idea what might work. They have an idea of what might work, but they don't have no clear vaccine. There's no way you can create a vaccine that quickly, unless it was literally man-made. And right now, there's reports that it's not man-made.
Well, think about this, bro. If people think that the coronavirus was planned, why wouldn't they have a cure for the plan? Who's to say that the cure wasn't already made?
But I don't think it's planned. I don't think it was planned.
So somebody just ate a bat, bro.
It's not about eating a bat. It wasn't about eating a bat. I'm not going to go into this because I don't know specifically all of the details, but how it originated out of the Wuhan lab, there was testing being done. The coronavirus is not new, people. COVID is not new. There is a different, like, coronavirus is a specific name for an illness, right? But there's different sections of the coronavirus. So this coronavirus that they had bats, they had different animals that they were testing different vaccines on and seeing, which the original report was that the U.S. was actually testing for different COVID vaccines. And they end up getting shut down due to the fact that they didn't have the proper contamination. But I'm not going to spread anything that I don't have the proper information on. I'm just saying what's out there. Y'all can look up the rest. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, even if it was, I don't believe it was man-made, but there's probably, and I'm not going to try and say what I'm saying is, you know, if it was, whether it was not, as of now, from what we know, the vaccine isn't real. We don't have that yet. It's still in development. And that's why there's a fear amongst people. That's why there should be somewhat of a cautious type mindset to it. Because as much as we want to act like this isn't that serious, as much as we want to believe like this shit is fake, if you catch that shit, the first thing you're going to be wanting to know is, nigga, where the cops there about? But nigga, they ain't going to do shit. That's all I'm saying. Keep that in mind. You don't want to be the nigga with it.
You never want to be the nigga with anything.
What if they open up everything and it gets worse? If it was bad as it seems, no way would they be opening everything up without a vaccine. Well, it's already, actually, what you're saying, last one, that's already happening right now. It's already getting worse, at least for the U.S. I don't know what's going on for the UK. You already said, though, y'all didn't open shit up. What I'm bugged about the U.S. is that we were saying that we had the best economy, one of the greatest economies. The American dollar is the strongest. But yet we're one of the quickest economies to open back up because we don't want the economy to be affected for the rest of the years. How strong is our economy if we have to risk millions of lives just so we can save our own economy for the long run? Wasn't that strong, right?
Or it could just be how cheap somebody is.
That's true. It could be Mission Boat. Like, nigga, I don't even want to lose no money.
Think about this.
Like, we already the strongest, nigga. I'm trying to be stronger.
What is generational wealth? That has to be money that you could predict for the future. Because, like, what you say? You said the other day, man, you know, eyes beating shit, man, you know, shit get real, money. You know, nigga work his whole money, get that dollar, you going just like that. So I'm like, think about it. Why would they use? You know how much oil we have? Why would the U.S. we want to use that when we can use that for something that's really a crisis. Like if we do go to war and we're repairing, we don't have to necessarily go nowhere. We're like, well, we can use some oil that we got here.
And that connects back to how everything that's being passed in the Senate and the House of Representatives right now when it comes to these bills, yeah, the poor is getting a little money in their hand. But look at the Canada. I go back to that. All their people getting $2,000 a month. The reason why is Canada, they're not seen the way the U.S. is seen. The U.S. is seen as a powerhouse, military-based, economy-based, whatever it may be. But we have to keep that up. And the reason why the U.S. is looked at that way is because the rich is some of the richest in the motherfucking world. And they run everything. They don't give a fuck about the working class, goddamn.
Nas went crazy. He said, still, our whole country is the only size of Texas.
And see, and that's the main point. That's what a lot of people don't put into perspective, and that's why I'm talking about that. When you're talking about Canada, when you're talking about the UK, you guys are way smaller than we are in size as a country. You know what I'm saying? Texas, California, those two states in itself is bigger than Canada. You know, maybe another
crazy
state.
Though, bro. Like North America and South America is pretty big, bro.
So the fact, like a lot of people, I'm disputing my own argument, but I love doing this shit.
Oh,
a lot
of do it.
I love it because a lot of people would say, well, the reason why Canada is giving out $2,000 a month to people is because they have a hell of a lot of less people to give that money out to. Nigga, that ain't hitting the economy the same way.
Right. And think about it. Canada's economy has never been outstanding, nor has it ever been just outstandingly poor. So it's like
that's because they're not. They don't have enough people for it to be based the way the U.S. is. That's why it's like if you look at it, the majority is lower class and middle class.
They're not capitalists,
but the majority of it is lower class and middle class. We rely on that, but you have to understand: the more money you give to the rich, what does that mean? There's going to be more poor, and there's going to be more middle class. What does that mean? More of the poor are going to have to work harder. The middle class is going to have to work harder. The rich is not. That's how U.S. works. That's how it motherfucking works. I've realized in this life, and I've came enough. I'm not an old nigga, but I came across a good amount of people where I've realized it's not about how much money you make in the U.S. It's not about the situation you're in, but it comes about how you spend your money. Anybody can be in the position where they're prepared, but mainstream media, the things you see on a daily basis, what goes into your mind, you know what I'm saying? What stimulates you is the spending of money, no matter how much you have, no matter how less you have. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, we will always be in a cycle. That's why the Republicans are so against giving out another stimulus package, especially if you're talking about $2,000 a month.
I would too.
On the poor always being used to being poor. If you got a whole bunch of niggas getting used to getting the amount of money that they never got, that they worked their whole entire life and they never got $2,000 a month.
Think about it, bro.
Wait, let me finish. Think about a nigga who worked his entire life, nigga 40 years old, 3 kids. Never seen $2,000 a month in his life. He just so happens to get in this pandemic. What do you think he's going to do? What's a lot of people going to tell you? A lot of people going to tell you it's going to make him what? Lazy. Depend on that, right? You're wrong, man. In my opinion, I think it's going to be the exact opposite. I think it's going to open up a lot of people's eyes. I think it's going to be like, a lot of people's going to be like, even the poor, they're going to be like, oh, damn, I believe in some bullshit. And I was spending my money on bullshit. Because you got to understand, the poor and the working class, they actually support the economy more because they spend a lot more than the rich. That's how the rich get richer, because they don't spend as much. But go ahead, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much.
I'm not sure. I was just going to say... Oh, well, Trump's trying to take away welfare. That's why they're not trying to get that check away.
Well, they're going to have welfare out. They're just going to put more stipulations to it. You're going to have to be working. Before, you can get welfare without working, same with food stamps. But he wants to put a stipulation in. The only way you're going to be able to get those is if you're working. I don't mind that. I don't mind. See, and that's why it's like a lot of people like when I say certain things, y'all. A lot of y'all might be like, "Man, you sound like a Republican." But then when I fight for the people, y'all get like, "Man, you sound like a Democrat." Because I believe in people working for their money, but I also believe in people getting paid what they're owed and worth. You know what I'm saying? Because too many people work for what they're not deserved to be getting paid, but they gotta. But a lot of people are like, I gotta feed my family. And that's what a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people want to talk about the people who are going to take advantage of this money. I want y'all to talk about the people who aren't going to take advantage of that money. Because I think there's a lot more people who aren't going to take advantage of that money and really need to pay bills, motherfucker. Shout out to UK. What last one?
It's a crazy thing to think about how how big the U.S. is, how many people live there now. It's only been there for 300 years, and other places have been there for thousands.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful point right there, man. Say a little bit. I'm gonna come back. I gotta speak on that. That's beautiful. Talk on that, man. That's the reason why. That's a beautiful point. That's a beautiful point. Where you going? I gotta get my charger. Oh, that nigga's out. That shit done. I'm gonna leave. Oh, like this.
What is this? Friday. But yeah, man, I told you why though. I said that's why we have a great economy. I said because we have the entertainment field. Like at the end of the day, bro, NCAA, all those bringing billions of dollars, man.
Talk about it. Talk about the entertainment. Talk about the sports, Hollywood, music. That's the money.
This guy is crazy. I said it though. I said that's why we do the things we do, and that's why I said China's not gonna want to really fuck with certain internet, certain things on the internet is banned out there. But I'm like, I know they can still watch NBA games and stuff like that. Like I know there's certain, unless I'm wrong.
What's the biggest market for the NBA? Talk about it, Ed. Who is the biggest market for the NBA?
I don't know, China.
Why do you think when those protests were going on in Hong Kong, why do you think Adam Silver made it a point to not let people in the NBA talk about that shit? Why do you think LeBron James got so much flack for it? Their revenue, the most revenue that they get is not from the United States, it's from China. It's from Hong Kong. All those. Kobe is one of the biggest stars in China. Why was Stephon Marbury able to go over there and be one of the most popular stars? They love the NBA. I wanted to speak a little bit about that too, about the U.S., how many people live there now. It's only been around for not even 300 years. I think a big part of the amount of people that we got living in the U.S. right now is simply it goes around the fact that if you have space, people are going to fill it. Does that make sense? Open rooms. What is my goal?
Turn them all out.
Right. If I have an apartment complex and I have 10 open rooms, what is my goal?
Rent them all out.
Right. So if I have space, what is my goal? To fill it. So the more space you have, what is going to happen?
Depending on if you want that space filled.
But of course you do. How do you? The only way you have one of the greatest economies is how you have more people spending money. If you have
about the economy, I thought you was talking about the regular old Joe.
Well, what I'm referring to his question not his question, just his statement when he was talking about it's crazy how for 300 years, like basically the U.S. had a shorter amount of time than the U.K., but we have more people. And I'm saying that goes to just if you have more space, more people's gonna fill it.
That and when you bring people over, and people, you know what I'm saying? It's not like people was in California before we even discovered this side. People
was in U.S. period in North America.
I know, but I'm just saying California though. Like there's been people all over the scattered United States. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like What are you talking about?
That shit just went out.
I forgot what we was talking about, Loki.
We were talking about if you got space,
Oh,
then you gonna feel it.
and then what was I talking about?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I forgot what I was really talking.
I'm not using making a good. Well, shit. You know what I'm saying?
I really forgot.
How you feeling, man? We don't want to keep them up, man. Should we just go ahead and end it on this note right here?
Yeah, man. I forgot what I was gonna say. Hopefully, y'all.
Are we going to end it with a 5150 today?
I don't know. Did you want to?
Man, I'm always down to end it with a 5150.
You gotta find the beat.
I gotta find a beat. Where the okay. Oh, ready. I did. All right, y'all already know. We're gonna take a short 5150 break. Oh no, we're gonna change that. We're gonna take a short coronavirus break, quarantine break. We're gonna find us a beat real quick. We're gonna give y'all a little song. Young Zen, he's putting me on a beat finding material, man. That shit kind of hurt my soul a little bit. I wasn't ready for it.
What?
Wasn't ready for the beat side of the tip.
You said you wanted to do the song, so I thought you had a beat.
Yeah, I didn't have a beat ready, but I'm gonna find one. I'm just gonna pick some shit. So give us a minute, y'all. We're gonna give y'all some good shit, man.
You sign on to it? Yeah.
How you feeling? What type of mood you feeling right now?
Shit, whatever you
Yeah,
go
you
on.
feeling ready? You get ready, man. You loading.
Bro, you act like not 1 in the morning, nigga.
Hey, man.
Just because your cylinder is on all levels, nigga.
All levels, man. Corona ain't shit. Let me see. What do I feel? What would be good? What would be good? I got something. I got something. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be a little different, right?
Yeah. Move. Slacking earlier, man. I'm never slacking.
Slap. I don't know what none of these beats sound like, so if I open one up, it's just gonna be one. Open it up, it might sound weak.
First bet. Your best bet is the most popular.
Too late. I just open one up. If it's weak, I'm gonna change it. I remember I told y'all. That ain't it. That sounded weak. I'm gonna have to find something out of here. Ready? Hey man, y'all don't know, man. Shout out to the two that's rocking with us right now. I don't know why nobody would give us no likes, but
They ain't fucking with us, man.
I'll tell you it all
Maybe
this.
they can't understand.
What you think? That's all right? Fuck with it? Oh damn it, we finally got one. Hey. I know this shit feel like we losing the day. Sometimes I feel like I'm just running away. Call my little bitty, I call him my babe. Most of y'all niggas, they mad at you say. I just be tripping, I feel like I'm winning when I feel like I'm in my tag. Call my little hoe up, I tell her I'm trying to just fly away like I'm some wank. I'm on some different shit. I'm on a different shit. Call my dogs out. Tell them we bout to shit. Couple they talking me, they ain't been knowing about me. I just be doing what I just be feeling. I just be doing my thing. Hey. Y'all don't be knowing about a real nigga. Smoke till I feel like I'm up. Pull on that like it's a trigger. Yeah, call me like yeah.
I got that pressure. With that pressure.
Yeah.
All that shit pressure. This shit is pressure. COVID is pressure.
Yeah.
But I don't feel pressure.
Nah.
I'm against the pressure.
Yeah.
Cause I'm smoking that pressure.
Yeah.
I got pressure. showing pressure, but I feel like I gotta get to the money and like I'm a tester. I'm here looking like she better get to the dollars, but she can't stop me to this. Yeah. Man, feeling like I gotta get to the dollars. I feel like I smell like a this. Yeah. She can't stop me though, cause I'm about to get money and I'm about to get on my chest.
Yeah. I feel like it's fresh. I feel like it's fresh. I feel like it's fresh. The money in it. But you and everything. I know I'm feeling so good because I know I'm about to go pop a train. Y'all talking y'all crazy, y'all know that I'm doing what I need to do. Call my little bitty, y'all know that it's cool. Y'all mad at me, y'all just be swimming like pool. Y'all never see nothing the shit that I do. Cool like some dude. I pull up a little dude with a little henny too. I feel like I'm on top. My little bitty can call me up, you trying to make a little drop. I don't be tripping, nigga, check out the crop. I'm feeling like I be the man. Why would you see it? Watch what I do. All of y'all niggas be mad how I move. I swear this shit that I do be brand new. Y'all niggas be mad cause I move, I be lose. Call my little bit on the phone, I just tell her I love the way she just be calling me up. Hey, y'all just be mad cause a nigga know I'm about to really go up. Smoke on the backside, feel like I'm really about ride. Then what's up? Tell them these niggas we really bit high. Yeah. Fresh.
Rolling the gas. I'm in the coupe and I'm going fast. I live from 20, I'm doing the dash. Yeah. She on the dick and she bustin' real fast. I had a gang fast. You up and clapping that just like you man. You up and trying to just like you man. But I don't mind man. Listen, they feeling like I gotta get the money like that. Looking at your mama now she just said, yeah, I think I'm moving she bad. I'm out here moving like Magic Man. I'm out on Saturday, why you over there? I'm out here moving like I don't care.
Hey, man. What's up? You trying to handle them?
You want to do nothing.
You trying to handle them?
Never do 2 beats.
Man, I don't give a fuck. That's because we doing it, motherfucking coronavirus quarantine style. Care. And he don't do 2 beats, but on his motherfucking repo show, them niggas do songs out the ass, nigga.
They be terrible. I'm like, hey, yo, no disrespect, Corey.
Damn.
No disrespect, Corey. I didn't even get on your show.
They be terrible, man.
My man Flu need to get on your show, man. I feel like with our young energy, combated with your old, spontaneous, radical behavior, I feel like it'll be a class of a great podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Man, we gonna.
I've never seen an artist on Corey's shit ever.
We gonna try and make that shit happen, man. All right, listen. We gonna do one more for y'all. I'm gonna get about we got goddamn it. Trying to see something. I want to find a two popular.
Mask.
My bad, yo.
Mask.
How does somebody?
I want this hot one. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'll say it again. Because I don't think none of y'all heard it. So I don't give a fuck. Feel like Lil B. I'm turned. But I'm not up. I'm down. Moving. You gotta frown. I'm moving like I gotta get the dollars and I gotta get a pound. I'm just moving around. All my guys strapped. They moving like the shit is really eye-rap. I'm never gonna stop, bitch. I'm just going harder than you ever thought. You would think it was a mosh pit. Looking at these bitches, boy, I just gotta go hard. I be trying to feel like I just gotta get a go car. Looking at these bitches, man, this shit is so fraud. I be getting buckets every day like I'm just game hard. You can never stop me, little hoe. I just be going harder. I be feeling like I gotta get it like the Wayne Carter. You can never stop me, little bitch. I know how I get it, get. You just feeling like you gotta get it, cause you really legit. Pass it to my nigga Flu, cause he legit. He got wisdom too, so he really legit. I don't understand why these little militant. I'm just smoking gas, feeling really good.
I feel like I'm about to get a couple dollars. Call my little bitch, I told her to let me holler. Why y'all niggas mad? Because I'm about to ball up. Both y'all niggas call me, yeah, go ahead and call her.
Call her.
Call my little bitch, yeah, I'm about to holler. Ooh. Woo. Give me a little second, about to give $1. Most y'all niggas mad because y'all ain't on me. Got to get my bitch, I'm about to really call her. I'm on that new shit. Told my little bitch I'm on some new shit. Most y'all niggas mad, I'm about to go buy me some new drip. I don't give a fuck when I get money, get a new whip. Never seen a nigga move on, I'm about to move shit. Ha, ha, ha. Get, got a new bitch. Why the fuck you mad? Nigga about to catch a new lick. Never seen a nigga do the shit that is bullshit. You ain't never seen a nigga move like this. Nah. Told my little bitch I need $1. Hold up. If she look bad enough, swear to God I holler. Never seen me on no shit, I'm about to call her. Never seen me on no shit, I'm about to ball her. Yeah, why the nigga move on some new shit? Told my little bitty I was clueless. I don't give a fuck, call me fluent. Swear to God, I be on that new shit. Hey, I be on that new shit. Told my little bitty if she moving, let's move it. I don't give a fuck, my nigga, if you call me fluent. I just do what I wanna do, watch how I be moving.
He said he gonna make that little bitch and she gonna holler. He said my bar's back right now. I haven't been in the studio, man. No. I just want to let y'all know, man, y'all gonna get exclusive right now, man. It's loose talk right now with me. I might be gassing, but I know it's not gas because I know my ears aren't broke. I'm a man, you know what I'm saying, right here, man. He got some shit in the chamber, man. It's gonna be released soon. Don't know how soon, but hopefully very.
Yeah, we waiting for some new equipment.
Man, when that comes, once we start upgrading things, man, hopefully
y'all gonna have a lot of new shit coming out. But it's just like, you know what I'm saying? We at the point now, man, we want to give you some solid shit, doing for a minute. So it's like, once we get the equipment we need,
we're going to be on 100 mil. But right now, man,
it's gonna be crazy.
We was behind the curve, and there's no apologies because it's all about learning. But we going to give y'all the best.
Yeah, that's right. You just got to learn.
If y'all go to the Black Goose page on SoundCloud,
just got to learn. Yeah, you
it's going to be all taken down, man.
You gonna take it down?
I'm taking them all down, man. So if y'all want to listen to any of them tracks, man, tonight's your last night. A lot of y'all probably not going to get to this message, so it is what it is.
We start fresh, and it's going to...
Fresh!
And I know a lot of y'all probably like, man, we gonna be... like, I'm telling y'all, just be ready, man. We not talking no shit either, man. Just be ready, man. We changing everything the way we do it. And that goes with YouTube, too. And we've been talking that shit a long time with the YouTube, too. And low ball, man, even though, you know what I'm saying, that's why, you know, it's hard times for the corner. A lot of niggas going through a lot of some shit during this time. And it's one thing I found, man, this YouTube, man, I promise, we ain't forgot y'all YouTube family. We ain't forgot y'all. And we was talking that shit. We was telling y'all a long time ago we going to upgrade everything in this YouTube channel. We still going to do it, man.
Hey, man, but they know, though. They know, man, like, all that shit threw us off, man. We was on our fight game. Not like we wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
We was still on the fight game, but still, it's not just a fight game. We gonna give y'all new content. When we was talking, because before we was telling them we was gonna do this shit.
It was.
And for a minute, it was like,
but see, what happened was when we started trying to do the music, because you know we was building up.
But that wasn't. But the music and YouTube, though. That's where we fucked up. That's separate. Like we can put when we do music videos, we can put it on YouTube. I mean, the music and YouTube. YouTube is something different, man. YouTube is what we making it. You know what I'm saying? We doing these live streams, talking about the COVID, talking about boxing, watching live streams. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes watching live boxing, live NBA games, you know, Super Bowl if y'all ask us. And Glimpse sometimes going live doing rap shit. Like, that's what y'all want to see. And that's what we going to give y'all. And that's what we're going to upgrade on the quality, man. I promise you, man. I promise you, man. We're going to upgrade this channel, man. You're not always just going to see us always going live, sitting, you know what I'm saying, in the chair, just talking on some regular bullshit. We're going to give y'all some different content, man. We're gonna upgrade to YouTube because this shit is real, man.
It's more so like how you guys jump the queue so quick. It's actually crazy. People have been fighting wars for hundreds of years to get what you guys got.
And when that come in?
I don't know. I just thought to look. I thought that was some real shit. I was like, damn. Five wars for the year.
Yeah, no, that's a real. But at the same time, like, cause I don't know if I'm late. I'm probably late addressing that comment, last one. So my bad if I am late. Hopefully watch this, you see it. We did a whole 2 songs, so I feel like that might came for the whole 2 songs. So I'm just gonna address that real quick. When it came to us getting to where other people got fighting wars, things like that, you're right. And it's interesting to see how people's perspective is on the U.S. because we do have a lot of freedom. Like, we were initially told to stay in our houses. We have niggas on lockdown, protesting, storming the capital of Michigan with guns in their hands because that's our right. Only in the U.S.
Yeah.
Because
that's
niggas is like,
the illusion of the U.S. is different is that because we have the Declaration of Independence, and that's what makes us different from most countries, which it does. But it doesn't mean that we operate necessarily differently. Because I'm like, our culture necessarily was adapted from that side. So it's like they just remixed it. They remixed that joint. Because think about it, they brought Christianity over here, which if in Europe, what is it, the Catholic? But if you look at Catholic in the Bible, it's damn near the same thing. It's just Mary. It's something different. I forgot what it is. I think Mary's like the messenger or something.
Yeah, it's like Mary, which they love. Hey man, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to the one who's been rocking with us. We'll go ahead and end this mess late. We're gonna be back live tomorrow. But hey, man, this ain't all talk. The coronavirus pandemic, man, opened up eyes. We're gonna upgrade on the YouTube channel soon, and we're gonna upgrade on the music. So, y'all who have been rocking with us for a long time, we're gonna finally do what the fuck we do.
I click off. It's just crazy because I put it on my Instagram because I want to let people know. I'm like, I really thought, and this also because you got to do research yourself before you start feeling like that. But you know what I'm saying, the things we was doing, you know, with everything, I'm thinking we are above the curve, which we are in a sense because a lot of people don't even take that step. But it's like we still have so many more steps. And I was thinking we was in a space when we weren't in that lane. And now, you know, you put me on that certain game, I'm like, okay. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta put money into anything that you want to see results in.
You gotta invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, don't expect nothing to come out of it. Because if you didn't believe in yourself, why do you expect someone else to believe in you? I'm sure.
We don't end on that though, no, man.
Stay positive. Try and get through this goddamn pandemic. And we're gonna be back tomorrow. We're gonna come at you with some news. And just remember, if any of y'all have been affected by the COVID and you're in the United States, file for that unemployment. Y'all can get compensated. Stay beautiful.
That's probably why they stay
loved.
down the first time you go with that damn unemployment. Like, you run our shit